Despite all this talk of a declining housing market, it could actually be the best time to buy. That's according to a new analysis from Realtor.com just out a short time ago that says the Black Friday of home buying is just around the corner. For an interview you're going to see first on Yahoo Finance, let's bring in George Ratiu, senior economist at Realtor.com. So, George, I have to say, you threw me with this one. I mean, historically, springtime is when you go out and buy a home. Why are you saying fall is the time?
Good morning, and absolutely a great question. Well, it turns out that fall comes really after the peak buying season, right, in the summer, when really a lot of families tend to traditionally move, right? If you want to change school districts, you're going to likely buy in the summer. What ends up happening, and this year really falls within the trend that we analyzed over the last 4 years or so, is at the end of the summer, there are still a lot of homeowners who have their homes on the market, ready to sell. So for buyers, it turns out that this coming week of September tends to provide the confluence of factors that like less competition, price reductions, more fresh listings on the market that make it a golden opportunity. In fact, that's why we ended up calling it the Black Friday of home shopping.
George, you say Black Friday, I immediately start thinking of people being trampled over each other to go out there and get the hottest gift. Do you expect a big flood of traffic into the housing market over the next 2 to 3 months, and then the housing data will get even better?
So looking at the fact that consumer optimism is still strong, we've seen employment still strong. There's this tension in the market between the capital markets, financial markets, and what people are watching on TV. We saw the Fed's rate cut yesterday, and consumers who are looking at their finances, who in many cases, they're young, particularly for millennials. They are looking at their next home, and a lot of them have had a tough year in 2019. So considering the mortgage rates are still near historic lows and are likely to stay there a while, I don't expect trampling by any stretch, but I think for patient buyers, this would be a great time to keep hitting those open houses.
You know, what do you make, though, of the housing market? I mean, if I'm in the market looking for something right now, frankly, I'm confused because a lot of the data is mixed. Some of it's contradictory. Yesterday, we saw housing starts up 12% in August. They're saying a lot of that is because of what we're seeing with interest rates coming down. Mortgage rates are at about 30-year mortgage rate now at about 3.5%. So is talk of a meltdown or a recession in housing, is that just overdone? Is that wrong?
Well, frankly, as I mentioned, I think that a lot of the recession fears come from the business and financial sector. Obviously, folks are paying attention to what's happening globally. They're seeing central banks in Europe, central bank in Japan, resorting to negative interest rates, trying to boost their economies. We're not really having that same problem here in the U.S. Consumers are still upbeat, and I think that builders recognize that. The demand for housing remains strong. After all, we have 85 million millennials, Gen Y, who are coming in their formative years. They're starting families, they're having families. The oldest of them are 38 years of age. All this entire cohort is going to need housing. Builders are recognizing that. The housing market reflects that. In fact, based on Realtor.com data, what we saw in August, inventory declined for the first time on a monthly basis in several years, driven by this appetite for housing. And in fact, when you look at housing under $200,000 in that price range, inventory declined by 11% on a yearly basis, which tells me that for buyers, there's still a lot of thirst for product. They're just not finding it. So I do find the recession fears in terms of the market perhaps a little overplayed. As far as real estate. Now, obviously, the broader economy, a whole different issue.
Hey, investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.